Alright folks, we are back again. I am a little late uploading this
Yeah.
video. Apologies for that.
And
Like I
every time
said,
we
things
played
have
on the
been
other
super
track
busy.
on the other
But
side,
good
I
news
lost.
is I got 2 rounds of Hyperdrive to
I like
report on,
using the
and
big
also
guy.
coming up very soon, the very first episode of SRL, the Saturday Morning League I race in. Their season has begun. We've already done round 1, so yeah, that will be the next video coming out. And then immediately after that, it will be Hyperdrive at Azerbaijan. But today we are here at Monaco, and we got a little bit of an interesting format to talk about because due to attendance not being great, instead
I
of
think
doing
we have
our
better
standard
qualifying position
full
advantage against Bender.
qualifying, it is a short qualifying.
Considering the
You guys
tires.
are catching my last run here. We are currently on the outlap. So yeah, at least we knew that the format change happened in plenty of time in advance, so we could practice appropriately, for the right distance of race. So props to the admins in those regards. And the settings were correct in this race, so also props to the admins in those regards. But nonetheless, coming into this race, this is one of those tracks in the year that I'm never anticipating much of. Just because it's one of those tracks as a pad player, it's one, and yes, we are allowed to cut the corners on in and out laps. But yeah, it is one of the most disadvantaged tracks for bad players in the entire game. And being that I'm in a top tier of a 5-tier league, and pretty much absolutely everyone in the top tier, it's a top 1%er at the game. It's very difficult to get a top 3 result, or let alone the win, on a track where your pad disadvantage as strong as you are at Monaco. But nonetheless, we are going to try to set a nice, good qualifying lap because we know how important track position is here at Monaco. That cannot be emphasized enough in your own league racing. Qualifying basically is the race. You need to make sure that you can run fast but yet also clean laps consistently so you can show up at qualifying, take advantage of other people pushing hard, making mistakes, nail your lap, because like I said, it's just as important, if not more important, than the race. As long as you keep it off the walls in the race and err on the side of caution, qualifying is the make or break. Yeah, as you can see, we are good. We are clean so far, carrying as much speed as we can through there. That's where you're really disadvantaged as a pad player. The quick changes of direction, you just cannot do it as quickly as wheel players can. Coming through Sector 3. So far, I'm just nailing everything in my lap. I was very happy with this lap. Coming through the last 2 corners, keeping it off the wall. And as we come to the line, we are currently 4th. And we'll see what we are when we cross the line. It's an improvement on our lap.
I got up to third.
Up to 3rd. And that is a fantastic qualifying result for us. We will see if this position holds. There's still a couple other drivers to finish their laps.
I'm happy because
We're going to hope that everyone else messes up like Clarky does there, hitting it off the wall, then crashing himself out on purpose. Very classy move. And yeah, we are able to take P3 here in qualifying, which is great for us. As a pad player, being top 3 in qualifying, that's a stellar result. And yeah, like I said, not the best attendance in this race. I think there only are like 14 cars or so. But yeah, getting P3 on a track like this, can't emphasize how happy I was about that. And we are looking good to have a nice, solid result at Monaco, which is a track that has just done me dirty time and time again, especially in this league. Every time I've raced Monaco in this league, I always get taken out within like the first 5 laps. So I'm really hoping that it changes this time around. And now is a good quick time to talk about our strategy for the race as we are coming to the closing stages of the formation lap. Because it's a 25% race, I am starting on the soft tire because if there were to be a lap 1 safety car, mediums can go to the end. But so some tracks you can actually start on mediums and take softs all the way to the end under a lap 1 safety car for 25% races. This track is not one of them. And also, the same error exists in the game that existed in last year's game, where if you play Monaco in an online race, the safety car just doesn't come out. I wasn't aware that that issue still existed in this year's game. So, in hindsight, would I have started on mediums? Honestly, I don't know. And it doesn't matter. But 5 lights are out. Random catchphrases. We are underway now. Not enough space to make a pass. We got a decent start. And yeah, right away we slot into our qualifying position of 3rd place, which honestly, like I said, is fine by me. I know that we are going to struggle to keep up with wheel players on a track like this that is so horrible for pad. But yeah, my strategy here, same as every other race. We're going to run our race. And that's really going to pay dividends for us because even if people are aggressive behind us, it's going to be next to impossible to pass us because we're at Monaco. This track's a glorified parade. You know, very little in the terms of actual racing go on at this track. And because it's Monaco, absolutely nothing has happened in the race in the first couple of laps. The front two are breaking away from me, and the Williams is staying very close to me behind on the medium tire at that. You know, he is a wheel player. It just shows how much of an advantage wheel players had, that even though I'm faster than him in qualifying, and I'm on soft tires right now, he can just keep up with me on the medium tire, which is very frustrating. But like I said, it's Monaco, so it's next to impossible to pass. And what I'm really happy about right here is just I have the clean air in front of me. So like I said, I'm not the fastest car on track right now, but no one is holding me up from doing what my potential pace is, which is going to be really good for our race long term as long as I just keep it off the walls. And speaking keeping it off the walls, 2 drivers have already DNF'd in this race. And after they did that, we knew that the safety car issue still existed in this year's game. You're going to ignore me missing my turn-in timing there as we come into the pits to fit the medium tire. We went for, I think, a 1-lap undercut compared to when I usually planned on pitting, because we really wanted to make sure that we came out ahead of those guys that were behind us, and pretty quick too. But like I said, it's Monaco, so they didn't have any bit of an opportunity to pass me. And what's perfect is we came out right behind Kieran, who in the last couple years of F1 games has held the world record here at Monaco, but he always seems to mess up in either the race or qualifying. He crashed out right at the beginning of qualifying, so he started at the back of the field. He's making his way up through, and us coming out of the pits behind him is perfect because, to be honest, we're not going to keep up with him. So he's going to keep pushing forward, so I'm going to continue to have clean air in front of me, which is really going to allow me to execute this undercut. And yeah, so far, I'm just so happy that things are just playing into my hands and I'm able to just drive at my pace and not get held up. And now, after the pit stops have cycled through, we find ourselves now in P4, which is essentially where we already were, the P3, just minus the fact that, well, not Sly Guy, used to be known as Sly Guy, now Kieran, I think he overcut us, or did he undercut us? I think he undercut it. Yeah, he undercut us. He pitted very early in the race, but like I said, he has some of, if not the best pace in the entire world on this track, so we kind of expected that to happen. But yeah, right now, me being in 4th with clean air in front of me at Monaco, I was not complaining about this one bit. Now the Williams behind that was on mediums earlier when I was on softs is now on softs while I'm on mediums, so he's going to be able to catch up quickly. So our race now, unfortunately, we find ourselves in the same spot where we have been a lot of times in league races so far this year, is that we're actually defending from the cars behind in the later half of the race after moving forward at the beginning of the race, or in today's case, actually nailing my qualifying lap, which is something that I knew I needed to be working on based off our previous races. So it felt really good to come out on one of the hardest, if not the hardest tracks in the game and nail our lap. As we advance forward now, we are on lap 18. The Williams has caught completely up with me now, but I am just saving my ERS. I'm getting great traction coming out of the slow corners though, so hopefully it will be just enough to not give him an opportunity to overtake, which shouldn't be all that hard to do considering we are on Monaco, and this is a track that doesn't allow you to race. It is just a glorified parade. As you can tell, I think Monaco is a horrible league racing track. I think it is F tier. Like I said, you just can't race on it, and typically you want to be able to race when you are playing a racing game, in my opinion. And I'm still surprised that F1 drives here. I know they clearly do just because of money, because it sure as fuck ain't for the racing, because it is non-existent at this track. But that's my Monaco ran over. Lap 19 out now, with the Williams still right up our chuff. And the status quo of the race has not changed. Still the same thing. Williams behind us. No room for him to pass us. It is now the final lap of the race. Oh, and I forgot to mention also the Williams behind did pick up a 3-second time penalty. So even if he does pass us, that won't really matter. The Mercedes ahead, unfortunately, is a lap car. I got excited when I first saw the Mercedes because I was like, Mercedes was the car right ahead of me when I was in P3. You know, maybe I'm getting another spot. But nope. It's just a back marker. And then we have another back marker ahead, the Aston Martin. As you can see, we are down to 10 runners in this race. So if you had the dedication to just show up for the race you said you're going to show up to and finish the race, you got points today, which I think is a great thing because it rewards drivers for showing up and not giving up, which is always a great thing that you want to see in league racing. And as you can see, not too much is going on here. This hasn't been the most exciting race so far, but I was so happy to just be running in clean air literally for the entire race. I did not get held up at all this entire race, which is fantastic. As we come around the final 2 corners, I see a Mercedes that's ghosting. I think, wait a second, I lapped the one Mercedes. That is the other Mercedes that was ahead of us. We are now in P3. The Alfa Romeo slows down ahead and lets both me and the Mercedes through because he caused an incident with the Mercedes. And just like that, you can tell I'm pumped about it. We're just not even close to catching the cars ahead of us the entire race, and then out of nowhere on the final lap, we gain 2 positions and move up into P2 at Monaco. And yeah, I was really happy about this. A track that is just literally impossible to hang with the top level guys in the world on pad. And for us to show up in such a talented league on pad and get second at Monaco, oh man, that is that's just a great result. And again, we continue our trend of moving forward in races. Even when I'm nailing my qualifying laps, we are still able to find positions in the race. And this whole year, while we have had bad luck in a couple races so far this year in the race, the way that I've just dealt with whatever situation's given me, perform the best I can, and consistently move forward, I'm really happy with the fact that in races, out of the things I can control, I've absolutely nailed it so far this year. And that's going to be crucial if I want to try to claw back this championship and if I want to fight for the SRL title, which is now leading into tomorrow's video. You're going to see round 1 of SRL at Bahrain, and I am going to be looking to compete for the championship in that league after being last season's runner-up. And I was this league's runner-up last season too. So yeah, lots of runner-upping last year, but we're looking for a bunch of titles this year. I will close out with letting you guys check out the final standings. Thanks again for watching a little bit of a shorter video because this is a shorter race, but nonetheless, more league racing videos to come. I'll catch you guys next time.
I think your gap to Bradders is like less than a tenth.
Oh yeah.